Hi, I'm Jen Newton, registered dietitian at the Sky Lakes Wellness Center. We're back in the kitchen to explore the wondrous food of kale. Now, kale sometimes can be a little bit mysterious, so I wanted to break it down to help us really understand how we can enjoy it best. So, kale is a cruciferous vegetable, so it's in the same family as our cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. It's really low in calories, but it is very high in nutrients. One of those is vitamin K, so if you're thinking about adding kale into your daily habit, you definitely want to talk with a doctor, your pharmacist, or a registered dietitian if you are taking a blood thinner. If you're not taking a blood thinner, add away. It's also very high in vitamin C, it's high in a lot of other antioxidants, and it's believed to have components that protect against certain types of cancer. So there's a lot of good reasons why we wanted to try to find ways to enjoy kale and really introduce it into our world. There's a lot of different types of kale. So today we're going to be working with a curly leaf kale. This is readily available in grocery stores. You can find it at our local farmer's market. You can also find it online at our thekfarm.org, and it grows really well in our area too. So it's another option if you're looking for things to add to your garden next year. This may be something that you want to consider. So the key to really enjoying kale is to know how to prepare it, and that's where we're going to start. As with all of our vegetables, we want to be sure that we are washing it before we're doing anything with it. So I've taken the kale over to the sink and washed it. I put it through a colander to help just let it dry out a little bit. And from here, what we're going to do with our kale, if you've ever noticed or looked at kale, it's got this fibrous stem with it. So this is something that doesn't really break down when we cook it, and it's kind of difficult to chew. So we actually want to take this off before we use it in anything. So I'm literally going to take the knife, and I'm just going to go right down each side of it to remove the leaves from that fibrous stem. And it's not very hard to do. As long as your knife is reasonably sharp, you should have no trouble with this. And then I have my fibrous stem that I'm going to, you can make a stalk out of this if you wanted to, or otherwise just throw it away. So now I'm left with just a leafy part of the kale. From here, I'm going to just roughly chop it, because we're putting this in a salad, so we just want to make sure that, it's in kind of bite-sized pieces, or nothing that's going to be too big to use for that particular purpose. So, and then once we have that done, we're going to add it to our bowl of the other kale that we've already cut. And from here, since we're going to be eating this raw in a salad form, one thing that we want to do is to just basically massage the kale for about 3 to 5 minutes. And what this does is actually helps to soften and break down the kale a little bit and improves the flavor. So again, you'll notice as you massage it, it'll turn kind of a brighter green color. But again, it'll take about 3 to 5 minutes for this. If you're cooking with kids, this is a great opportunity to have them get involved in the kitchen as well. Just remember, always with clean hands. So we've massaged our kale so that it's a nice brighter green color, and now we're ready to garnish it before we add our salad dressing to it. So really this is where you can use kale in just about every place that you would use other salad greens. So however you make your typical salads, you could do something similar with the kale. So today what we're going to do is we are going to be adding a little bit of Parmesan. This is grated Parmesan cheese. I think feta cheese is also a really nice flavor on our kale salads as well. And then I'm going to add a little bit of sunflower seeds here as well, because I like a little crunch on my salad. Again, you could use anything that you wanted. Sliced almonds are also really good. You could do some diced walnuts as well, or even some chopped pistachios for a nice flavor. And then if you'd like a little contrast with sweet, like I do, is where you could add in some raisins or dried cranberries, or even use some mandarin oranges, for example. Again, it's really up to your own taste preferences. We're going to be using some raisins here, and I'm just going to put it in my pan so I can make sure they get nice and dried or dispersed there. All right, so once I've got everything added there, I'm just going to give it kind of a gentle toss to kind of get things all mixed in there before we get our salad dressing added. We made a vinaigrette to go along with this. If you need some tips or some suggestions for vinaigrettes, you can check out some of our other recipe videos on Facebook. We've done one that's done a couple different vinaigrettes. With this, so I've added in my jar, I've got my vinegar, some lemon juice, my olive oil, and a little bit of salt and pepper, so really basic and easy. I do it in a jar because it's really easy to shake up. Oh, and I did add a little bit of honey for a sweetener as well. Now, this is a lot of salad dressing for this amount of salad. I'm not going to use all of that. You can choose at this point to just drizzle it over and toss it together, or you can wait until it's actually served. Regardless, it makes a very delicious salad dressing for the combination. That citrus is just a nice blend here. So there we have quick and easy kale salad. Hopefully this gives you some ideas about how to use your kale that you've been wanting to experiment with. We're also going to be making some kale chips. I'll show you how real quick and easy how that is to do. So now we're moving on to doing our kale chips. And so we want to start with the same process of making sure that we're washing it really well and that we're removing that fibrous stem from it. The one difference and the extra step that we want to do when we're working with our kale chip is to make sure that after we wash it, we do get it really dry, and that will allow us to crisp it up nicely in the oven instead of really steaming it, giving us that texture that we're looking for in our baked kale chips. So I've just put that between two paper towels, and as before, I'm just going to cut that fibrous stem off. And then I want to cut it into pieces that basically are bite-sized pieces. So about, a couple inches or so. Just keep in mind what size you would want to pick up for each chip. So again, something like this might be a little bit on the small side. You could tear them to get them to the right size. You could use your knife. I would suggest trying to get them all about the same size. I mean, give or take, that's just going to make sure that all of them are going to cook evenly. So once we have all of these the size that we want, we are going to just toss them in a little bit of olive oil. So not too much, just enough we can kind of coat things. And because we're cooking this, we don't have to worry about massaging the kale to try to break down some of that fiber. We're actually looking for some of that. So we've done a nice toss on this with just a little bit of olive oil. Now I'm going to add a little bit of salt, and I'm going to add some garlic powder as well. You can measure this out. We're talking basically just enough. And of course, with garlic powder, I feel like you can never have too much. You could also try out with fresh garlic as well. I think that might be a little bit challenging, but it can definitely give some good flavor with it. Again, just give it a nice toss. And once we have that, and all we're doing right there is to try to make sure that we're covering as much as possible. We're covering as many pieces as possible. And from there, we're going to transfer it onto a baking sheet. I'm preheating my oven to 290. It should go off momentarily. And then I'm going to bake this for about 20 minutes or so. During the last 5 or so minutes, I want to make sure that I'm watching it just to make sure that it's not overcooking. And again, you want to try to make these, have these in single layers so we don't have much overlap with it. So we'll get these in the oven and then we'll see what we get. We cooked our kale chips for about 17-18 minutes. So like I said, you want to make sure that you're watching it those last 5 minutes because you don't want to overcook them. But you do want to make sure they get nice and crisp, which is exactly what we have here. So we have these nice pieces of kale that, that's not a good example, but I assure you it's delicious. And they will crisp up a little bit as they cool too. Anyway, so I hope you have some great tools and ideas about how to use kale now going forward and how you can introduce this and use this with your family. You can also use the foodhero.org website as another great resource for recipes. So feel free to check out our Facebook page for other good, inspiring food videos.